Go. Perfect. Okay. All righty. Well, let's get this started. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Welcome to everybody who's joined with us before, and welcome to all the new faces and blank screens that we got going on here. Stoked to have you. My name is Cassie Rogers. I'm your staff chapter coordinator for Surfrider Ventura County. Tonight, I'm going to kick us off with a couple things. We're going to do a land acknowledgement, followed by some brief updates and volunteer opportunities from our program leads. And then after our program leads, we'll be joined by two super rad Ventura County locals who are making an amazing difference in our coastal communities. So to start us off, I want to kick off by acknowledging that the Surfrider Foundation of Ventura County operates on Venturino Chumash land. The first people of Ventura County for over 13,000 years are the Chumash people, and this is their homeland for thousands of years, their homeland today, and their homeland into the future. They are here, they love Mother Earth, and we want to honor them. We also want to acknowledge that February is Black History Month. So during the celebration of the nation's first African American History Month, President Gerald R. Ford urged Americans to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area and endeavor of throughout our history. So for this Black History Month, we want to take this opportunity to celebrate our activists, our friends, colleagues, and like-minded organizations within the Surfrider Network, starting tonight with our introductory speaker. So before we jump into that, let's start off with some updates. So for those of you who are new to Surfrider, I'm going to hand off our virtual mic to our program leaders to give us some updates on their victories and other volunteer opportunities. So to ensure that we have enough time for our guest speakers, our leaders are going to do this really rapid fire style. So before you start panicking and typing in information, rest assured that everything we go over is actually in our February newsletter that just went out today. Thank you, John Smith, for always knocking it out of the park with this newsletter. I'll throw the link in the chat for those of you who don't receive the emails yet. And if you don't, I would sign up. Comes out once a month. It is super easy to stay updated. So I threw that one in the chat. So go ahead and save all of your questions for our program leaders and our guest speakers till the very end, or if you want, type it into the chat. Our speakers are going to be staying on after they present to answer some of your questions at the end. But again, we're working on small amounts of time, so we're going to try and get through this as quickly as we can to answer all of your questions. And if you find yourself thinking that you want to volunteer with one of these programs or with one of the organizations, go ahead and shoot an email over to our volunteer coordinator, Andy Dosiv. I think I saw him in here earlier. I'll let him throw his email into the chat, and he can get you connected with whatever program you need. So to kick things off, I want to send out a huge big wave of gratitude to Marie Martin. She joined Surfrider in August of 2021 and has participated in almost every Surfrider beach cleanup effort that we do, from piloting solo beach cleanups and hauling debris off Ormond, C Street, Rincon Parkway. She's a member of our Hold On To Your Butt programs and work with Sierra Club and Channel Islands Restoration. And her goal is to volunteer 200 hours this year. So we want to thank you, Marie, for your incredible ocean and beach stewardship. We're very, very lucky to have you as our neighbor. So shout out to Marie. And next up, we have our beach cleanup round off. So Danielle, I don't know, I think I saw you on there.
I'm here.
There you are. If you want to do your updates, I'll give you the mic.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So our next group beach cleanup is February 26th from 9 to 11 on the Ventura Promenade between the Crown Plaza and Aloha Steakhouse. We are currently trying to build our group of core volunteers, and we're also looking for people with large vehicles or trucks in order to help us transport supplies from the office and set up ahead of time. So if that's something that you'd like to get involved with, you can email me at beachcleanups@ventura.surfrider.org. So hope to see you at February 26th.
Right on. Thank you, Danielle. So moving right along, next program is our ocean-friendly restaurants. And I want to give them a huge shout out. They're led by Casey and Juan. They've been killing it the past 2 months. So Juan or Casey, if you're on, do you want to give an update?
Yeah, absolutely. Cassie's totally right. Things have been picking up with ocean-friendly restaurants. I think restaurant owners are kind of adapting to the new normal, so it's been really successful. We've signed up a new OFR in the last month, Frontside Cafe in Ventura. Go check them out. They're very excited to be part of the program, and they're doing a lot of cool things. So I totally recommend them. And then we also had 3 former OFRs recertify. So that means they're committing to making ocean-friendly choices for a whole nother year, which is awesome. The 3 that just re-upped are Revel Kombucha Bar in Ojai, Caphrodite in Ventura, and the Farmer and the Cook in Ojai. So we're really excited about all that, but you'll notice there's kind of a concentration of Northern Ventura County, and we want to be getting Oxnard and Hueneme and all those places. So if you have restaurants that you would recommend, we're kind of looking for places that are already close. Like if they're using styrofoam, straws, and plastic bags, they've got a long way to go. We're not against working with them, but if you know restaurants that are maybe already in line, we'd love to have you recommend them so we can reach out to them and hopefully get them certified. I'll drop our email in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Casey. Right on. So next up is the Blue Water Task Force, which is Surfrider's citizen-led ocean water monitoring or water quality monitoring program. This is led by Joy and April. Joy, if you're on, do you want to go ahead and give a quick update on all this?
I do. Blue Water Task Force seems to be just going along. We're halfway through our testing season. If you've been looking at our weekly reports, you will notice that the bacteria levels are leveling off after our 2 storm surges and our tsunami swells. So if you're looking to get in the water, this is a good time, but please check the weekly reports. If you want to know how to do that, Cassie, can you put something in the chat? And also just a quick note, BC Beaches app that we also refer to has a little glitch. So if you're noticing that Surfers Knoll and Surfers Point have not passed, it's because of a glitch on the app. Don't be concerned.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to throw this link in the chat real quick. That is the link to sign up for our newsletter. And there's also a separate one for the Blue Water Task Force, so you can get those updates and also put them on social media. Thank you so much, Joy, and to all the volunteers who've been going out every single week. Joy, I'm also going to keep you on. Joy also leads our Respect the Rincon Parkway team because she's a powerhouse. So I'm going to pass it right back to you to give us an update on the Rincon Parkway.
Well, if I look a little pale, it's because I just got off a 2-hour Zoom call. I've never been on a Zoom call that long, but I was talking with the state team that is developing the 30 by 30 plan. The 30 by 30 plan is a big initiative that Governor, what's our governor's name?
Newsom.
Newsom, it just went out of my head, has put into play to try to conserve 30% of our California waters by 2030. So it's really ambitious, and this team is trying to get everybody's input. So I was able to speak about Rincon Parkway and how sea level rise and warming oceans are impacting directly the Rincon Parkway. So that was my first high level talk with actual political leaders trying to make some changes for the Rincon Parkway. And our next beach cleanup is February 12th, Saturday. We need people to sign up. You can sign up through the website under beach cleanups or look for social media posts this week. You should be able to join us to help us keep the Rincon Parkway clean.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joy. And we've got all of these updates and more, like I said, in the newsletter, and we have a calendar of events on our Google Calendar on our website. It usually has a sign up genius in the description. Be sure to check that place out. We also have a beach cleanup page with the signups also listed on there. So multiple places to find these signups for you. I also want to give a short shout out to some of the students from Cal State Channel Islands. Right now, I want to welcome our new intern. His name is Caden. I don't know if Caden's on the call right now, but Caden's going to be joining us this semester, and he's going to be helping with picking up trash along the Rincon Parkway at Mondo's and helping us with several other beach cleanup organizational items. And then we also have the CSU Channel Island Surfrider Club. They've been taken over by some new chapter leadership or some new club leadership. We have their Instagram online, and they are killing it this semester. They're starting off their first event this weekend with a bonding hike. So super stoked to see the youth getting involved and making some serious changes on their campuses and within our community. So with that, that is all the updates we have for this month. Of course, there's tons more opportunities to get involved and volunteer with us. Just keep up to date with our social media accounts and on our website to find more information. And with that, I'm going to keep the ball rolling on this one and kick us off with our introductory speaker, Kevin Brannon from Reel Guppies Outdoors. So Kevin grew up right here in Port Hueneme, and he has a huge passion and connection with the ocean. He has over 25 years experience working in the Southern California waters as a crewman, and he applies his expertise and his passion for teaching, documentary filmmaking, and storytelling to equip the youth and families with education and skills to responsibly enjoy California's waters and beaches. And it would take me a whole meeting to go over his impressive bio and accomplishments. So I'm going to let him take it from here and tell us a little bit more about what he does in connection with the ocean and the positive impacts he's had on the community. So with that, it is all yours, Kevin.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it very much so. So my name is Kevin Brannon. I am a fourth generation Port Hueneme kid. My raising fifth generation Port Hueneme kids. My great grandmother came out from Pennsylvania, coal miner's daughter, and grew up here. And my grandma actually worked at the old bank. She still pronounces it Wainema. Well, she did, rest in peace, grandma. But anyway, that's how long we've been out here, man. Me and my brother started hanging out on the Waineme Pier when we were kids. We grew up here in the South Oxnard area. We're biracial, we're black and white. So you don't really see too many brothers out in the water surfing, but the ocean was definitely our sanctuary to get away. We grew up on the south side. Hold, let me start my timer because I know I got time. Okay, so I can follow in and I'll take up all the time to share some. We grew up here locally on the south between Port Hueneme and the south side of Oxnard. My brother was a hardcore Crip gang member and I was following in his footsteps. But the ocean saved us, man. My brother started taking me fishing. Neither one of us had our dads around. My brother's dad died in prison and my dad died right when he got out of prison. So we didn't have a whole lot of influence. So the beach was where we would get away, you know. We started hanging out on the beach and my brother started taking me fishing on the Port Hueneme Pier again. We started hanging out with the locals there. So we grew up here surfing. We bodyboard more than surf. We're bodyboarders out here, you know, spongers, as you would say. But again, it was like where we would get away. You know, we know that this ocean, we call it vitamin C with the SEA, is, you know, it's therapeutic. And it's definitely been that way. I started working on sport fishing boats when I was about 11 years old. I would walk down Waineme Road, you know, right here where the big ships go out of. We used to have a Port Hueneme sport fishing, and I would sneak on the dock until they would kick me off. And finally, they gave me a job, and I was like squirting down like pelican poop and seagull poop off of the bait dock when the boats would come in. So I got a job, you know, doing that, and then I worked my way as a pinhead onto a sport boat, and I worked up in the office taking phone calls. So I have this ambition for teaching, and it was like when I was a little kid, I used to say, hey, when I grow up, I'm going to be a teacher. But going through the school system and being moved around in broken homes, that, you know, I have my own learning curves. You know, school really wasn't my whole thing, but being on the water was great. So my mom let me work on boats as a pinhead. I went to independent study at Gateway, and I loved just being on the water and teaching people how to catch fish. And we like to use the term catch a memory is the name of our first workbook, because again, we like to showcase not just catching some trophy fish, but also, you know, the education, seeing the dolphin. We live in the coolest place on the planet here in the Channel Islands National Park, with the upwelling from the different, you know, the plankton that come through here and all the different currents that we have. There's so much cool stuff, you know. Another thing that I do is I'm a documentary filmmaker. I have my own fishing show called Real Anglers Fishing Show. And that's kind of the platform that I was able to use to start the Reel Guppies Outdoor Fishing Program. We started taking kids out. We had Real Anglers Fishing Days. One of the guys on here right now, my cousin, Anthony, he was one of our first volunteers. I shared a picture today of them helping us out like years ago. Now he's a Marine, you know, but, you know, they were learning how to help the kids that would come out fishing with us get used to it, right? They're already volunteering and serving. We've served over 3,600 kids so far in this area. We do a monthly fishing on the pier that's open to the public, all for free, that we donate fishing poles and rods and volunteers. And we do that on the fourth Sunday of every month. We started doing that 9 years ago, kind of just sporadically. And the reason was, you know, when I would leave my apartment complex, I remember kids saying, hey, I wish somebody would take me fishing. And I'd be like, well, if you get your mom to drop you off at the pier, you know, you could come fishing with us. So we started getting out 5 or 6 or 7 kids. And now we're up to, I think our biggest day was like 147 people on the Port Hueneme Pier right before the pandemic, the January and February of 2020. And it's just grown, man. And it all started with just my helpers, my family. Yeah, right there. There's Anthony. Helping out. So I tell the story like they work for Hug, so it kind of help keep our costs down. We have some great partners, but again, I was one of those kids that needed somebody to take them fishing. So I know what it's like. And then when I would take reservations working at Port Hueneme Sport Fishing, a lot of the zip codes that or area codes that I would get would be like 661, 818. A lot of people from out of the area. So I know that the kids that live this close to the Channel Islands Marine Sanctuary, the Santa Barbara Channel, weren't getting out to enjoy this resource, this natural park that's right in our backyard. Anacapa is only 9 miles out. And then I was able to start doing that teaching part that I love to do and start talking about ecosystems and responsible angling. Some of the partners that we have is like NOAA, IGFA, Department of Fish and Wildlife, RBFF, which is Recreation and Boating and Fishing Foundation that helps us with a grant. Vamo El Pescar, again, that's to help minorities get out fishing. Again, I said earlier, me and my brother, you don't see too many brothers out here fishing and surfing. And, diversity is something that's big in fishing and in surfing to grow, whether it's ladies, different ethnicities, water sports, water safety. Some people in their cultures can't swim. They're afraid of the ocean. So we're able to break down a lot of these barriers that, again, might separate people from getting to the water. Port Hueneme, South Oxnard is a highly Hispanic area too. And some of these kids, again, their culture, they just don't fish or come out and do it. So we're able to put together a program of not just fishing, but educating about ecosystem, responsible angling, sustainable fisheries. There's white sea bass pens in the Channel Islands Harbor that we help out. And there's so much that goes on in this beautiful resource and what their job is as stewards to come out and take care of that. So, it's not just fishing. That's why we call it catching a memory, because this resource is right here. We've developed a couple of workbooks now. I'm actually in the local school right here close to us, Sunkist School. I'm taking their kids for the next 22 weeks out to Port Hueneme Pier. But the week before that, I go in there with my book and we talk about the book. It's called Catch a Memory. Again, stewardship, beach cleanup is in there, responsible angling. We do one called Inside the Channel Islands, and that talks about the Channel Islands itself. And then one called Inside the Kelp Forest, where we teach them about the kelp forest and the different species. And again, they play their part where they're stowing their fishing line, or if it's balloons that go into the ocean. There's different things that we're responsible for. And I tell the kids that they're never too young to make an impact, So that's kind of the whole program of overall. Our mission statement is to provide a positive environment program for youth using outdoor experiences, emphasizing education, life-building lessons, leadership, stewardship, and team building. And we're able to do that with our program, whether you're underserved and you're at-risk youth, or you're with the Cub Scout group, or you're with the fishing club from Pacifica High School. We work all, through all of that. And again, we also make sure it's a family engagement, that the families are coming out to learn about it too, so they continue this tradition. Instead of going to a ball game or an amusement park, you could, come out here and enjoy the Channel Islands in the water if you know what you're doing. Fishing can be relatively, what is that term that we use? Kind of like a challenging sport or intimidating. You walk into a shop and ask, hey, how do you tie a hook? Most guys don't want to do that. They don't like directions. So to go in there and ask or tell your kids you can't tie a hook, you might try to pick a different kind of outdoor experience, maybe hiking and some. But we also, we do that stuff as well. We partner with some other organizations because collaboration is a huge part of success for all of us, because we're all responsible for these resources here. I'm running out of time, so I like to, let's see. I've kind of covered everything. I just wanted to, we're opening up a learning center in the Channel Islands Harbor. Our ribbon cutting is on the 17th of February this month, 16 days away. We got a grant from Justice Outside, and they're another one that wants to get Black, Indigenous, Hispanic kids out into the outdoors, and we just fit their model as far as education and all that we do. So crossing diversity with at-risk youth, with education, with, different scouts and troops that want to come out and enjoy it and do different projects like beach cleanup and things like that. So, besides just catching fish, that's just how we lure them in, using my little quotes to get them hooked to come in. So, and we're doing pretty successful. So Channel Islands Harbor, if you're from this area, it needs a little love, and we're happy to come down there and get that going. So that's on the 17th. And the last thing I like to say, I always like to finish with a little motivation. My friend Felix, I had him come in, is to, and individuals or community businesses, or I'll get to that question in a second. But if you're out there and you want to be a part of something, man, and you want to start something and do something, we started with nothing, our own fishing poles, the platform for my TV show, the resources that I could get together to go out and get started. And my friend Felix that's on here, I like to tell his little story about, he's a surfer, right? We dropped in, he was good, he used to compete. And he would like surf small waves and big waves and windy days and cold days. I'd be like, Felix, man, why are you doing this? And he's like, because when I get to a contest, there's no guarantee it's going to be perfect conditions. And and if I don't surf all these different conditions and I show up to a day that can be small, 2 foot, I might only get 2 or 3 waves per heat. So I got to maximize that opportunity. So just something about, you know, putting in repetitions, getting out there. Some days it's small, some days it's classic, some days it's perfect, but he just kept doing it. He would compete at a high level when we were younger because he would make that dedication to himself to get out no matter what the conditions were and drop in. So that way, when it came time to his competition, that he could handle anything that the surf was that day. So just wanted to encourage anybody that's got a dream or a vision or want to get part of something that's in our group, you know, just, you know, sometimes you got to do that if it gets bumpy. And we've been through those same types of things growing this business from the ground up, you know, and, you know, just like to use my little surfing metaphor, I like to speak in metaphors. And that's just one, you know, you're not always going to have perfect days and classic conditions, man, but you got to drop in anyway. Right. So again, I'm Kevin Brannon with the Reel Guppies Outdoors program. Let's go catch a memory. That was 9 minutes.
That was beautiful. That was perfect. Oh gosh, thank you so much, Kevin. I am so moved to hear everything that you're doing. And I think it's so relatable what you brought up. And it's such an important part that although surfing is such a sport associated with the ocean, there's so many ways that people build a sense of place at the beach. And even within Surfrider, I mean, I'd say at least 50% of us don't even surf, but we all have this passion. We want to protect this beautiful place that we call home, whether it's for fishing, for boating, for surfing, for just sitting on the sand. So I am so excited to see this community center, and definitely keep us updated, tag us in that, and we'll repost so everybody in the meeting can see it too. So I appreciate you being here. If anybody wants to get his contact information, I know we threw it in the chat, but also we've tagged him in our post on social media. Definitely get in contact with him if you want to go and support his organization and all the hard work he does, because it's a lot more than just Reel Guppies Outdoors. I mean, you heard it here. But thank you again. So in the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and move on to our next featured speaker. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Anna Chow to the stage. Dr. Anna Chow is the co-founder of Hydrotheory Incorporated and the director of outreach and clinical services. She was born in Los Angeles and raised biculturally in the United States and South Korea throughout her childhood through her adolescent years. She brings an integrative lens to the fields of creativity, psychology, and understanding behavioral responses. Currently, Dr. Chow works with children, young adults, couples, and families at her private practice, Heart Theory Incorporated, and has recently started taking private clients out to the ocean for surf therapy through Hydrotheory. Anna is an avid surfer, tailor in surfing, and a black belt in Taekwondo martial artist. So thank you so much for coming tonight, Anna. I know you've got a video to kick us off with, so I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic along to you to get us started.
Thank you so much for that introduction. It's really an honor to be here. And before I get started, I'd like to share a video. It might take me a little minute, but before you watch the video, if you don't mind using the chat room as a resource, you know, I see your names and I'm so grateful for your time, and I want to somehow connect with you. I just want 2 words. I want 1 word for you to think about, not type it in. Whatever is in your brain right now, just 1 word. It could be an emotion, a thing, someone, anything that's on your mind, just pull it and note it. I would love to see that flow of kind of thoughts that are really just truncated into one word. Okay, so let me start this. Okay. Okay, here you go.
Looking good so far.
Creatures of my dreams raise up and dance with me. Now and forever, I'm your I hope you enjoyed it. If you can just kind of sit with one word right now that describes your experience, that would be wonderful. So those 2 words, before and after, if you can just shoot them in the chat, it really helps me connect with who I'm speaking to. I'm gonna, hold on, I'm looking at the chat, so it's so nice to see. Let's see. Basic, let's get my, okay. You see this screen right now, Cassie?
Yes.
Uh-oh. No,
There we go.
you did not see that, right?
We did see that one. Yeah.
You did, okay. I will have this slide up. It's a lot easier for me.
Like we got a lot of good words coming in the chat. Flow, water, peaceful, motivated, powerful. Oh gosh. Nature, smile. Very positive.
Wonderful. And I will find this PDF file. I oh, geez.
Let's see, we got some more peace, resilience, hope, powerful, purpose. Got the ones are coming in.
Perfect. PDF. Here it is. You see
There
this?
we go.
Okay.
Yes, we can see
Okay.
that now.
So thank you so much for that. You know, I prepared that video. It's actually a really huge intersection for me to present today as a clinician. You know, clinicians are really behind 4 walls traditionally, and that's why the art therapy was really motivating for me for the past 10 years, educating and supervising interns and really driving the field. And the pandemic really did a number on clinicians, frontline workers, teachers. I mean, everybody really. I think everyone's essential and their work is essential. And I think we have to redefine what essential work is. And that's the basis of how hydrotherapy came about. As you saw in the video, I've been a single mother for 10 years about with my son. He's 12 now. And kind of joined forces with my handsome founder, Captain Rex Regal, He's a ex-Navy SEAL veteran, and he is my teacher in surf therapy. And together, through the teachings even of sailing and getting on gypsy, as you know, just kind of remaking things that are broken or worn out, you know, that's kind of defines how we joined forces. Our healing, we integrated it and learned so much during the pandemic. And we're at this point where we see so much around us and so many skills, and we became really, just so amazed by the amount of love out there in the ocean, as well as clinically. I'm always looking at the ocean and the people and sharing experiences, and there's a lot of pain. So that's kind of what I wanted to portray. And I'm hoping that in your own experience with the ocean, however you participate, that video did inspire you to tell your story somewhere with organizations like ours, and create an experiential with other people and become leaders in it. Why did we come up with hydrotheory, and why now? This is just one kind of snippet from the CDC. And what I like to do when I conceptualize problems is group them into just visually. I have to see what's coming up, mental health challenges with the beginning of associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, and we're still struggling through it. I can't be a clinician and in healing and feeling this awareness and growth without acknowledging there's so much more to be done. Here's Carlos. Okay. And, when you see anxiety disorder, depressive disorder, 41% reported at least one adverse mental or behavioral condition. Anxiety, depression, that comes up in therapy all the time, but it's in all of us. We experience it all the time. Now with the pandemic and all of these underrepresented and underserved communities already suffering, you can imagine it doesn't make sense, right? So what I kind of laid out was, I'm sorry for this Psych 101, but I always go back to the drawing board when there's a huge problem. I think this is a huge crisis right now we're in. When you go to Erik Erikson's psychosocial development stages, and the age group that we're hitting right now, that the stats are revealing really generally, is, the crisis that they're dealing with, identity versus confusion, age 13 to 21, right? Young adults, teenagers, intimacy versus isolation, 20s to 40s. When you're in 40s to 65, this is all general, but you're dealing with generativity or stagnation. And 65 and older, you're dealing with integrity or despair. The virtues that we're actually trying to find go from competency, fidelity, love, care, and wisdom. So everybody's looking for this. The age groups of the volunteers we're finding are in this age group. And there's a lot of identity confusion already. And now it's a societal universal trauma that we're going through. So there's something has to shift in society and in the model in which we value our work. At the onset of the pandemic, the share of mothers actively working decreased more than fathers. Not that it really is that much of a big difference. It's 21% of mothers' work decline. Fathers dropped 14.7%. And that's just, April 2020. I think we all feel how difficult life has been. The healthcare sector has lost nearly 500,000 workers. That sounds incredible to me because it takes so long to actually get to that point to be a healthcare worker, and dedication. 1 in 5 frontline workers are either left or went into early retirement. And we hear this in the water all the time. We know them and we know why. So these numbers all kind of come into fruition when you look out there and experience yourself, feel what your worth is. There's a parable, hold on. The parable about the Five Blind Men and the elephant came to mind. The five blind is an old Indian parable. I'm sure you guys have heard it in different variations, but point being, five individuals trying to, share an experience of one whole item, one whole unit, and your experience is completely different. That's how I feel my experience in surfing has been. My walk with Aaron, my son, my walk with different units of help, organizations, what I'm researching, what I see. There's a lot of unity as well. But the whole basis of how we think is education, therapy, and psychology, and other fields. And we think behaviorally, socially, emotionally, achievement or academically, professionally. But if we all integrate all of that, what would this big unconscious collective look like if we actually looked at the unconscious from self to the environment and all of our experiences? So Carl Jung said, just as the self is a unit in the collective unconscious, so we are units in the self. And if the ocean represented the collective unconscious, there's a lot of mix going in the ocean. Before I go into what our services, what we offer, some of the surf experiences you'll see that I had at like C Street, you can see, if you are aware of not just the self and how many waves you're catching and which waves you are going for, there's so much around you, right? As you always see someone catching barrels, and it almost makes you feel, there's a little bit of and it makes you feel like, wow, I'm really bad and I can't get one in, right? And when I look over, I see some women, and this has been my experience growing as I've lived here recently about 2 years now. And I see a lot of women, underrepresented women, and they're like this, I don't know if you see my face in this, but they are stoic. They have white faces. They look like they're really scared. And I'm trying to cheer them up to see how they're doing. And then they give up and then they go move on with their day. And day in, I kept surfing every day, and I'm watching this happen. And you can only help one at a time. You can only kind of redirect them to work on something instead of focus on being yelled at or almost getting hit by a board. I'm watching this as a clinician and I'm thinking, I'm really stoked. And I'm stoked that we can stoke others. Rex, the founder, he is the stoker. But is it really worth just enjoying and trying and then trying again without the collaboration and understanding of one another? And how do you even fix that problem, right? Because everybody has their intention in surfing, and really at your skill level, you deserve that. But there is everyone else. And that's been a huge issue that I've just been researching. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just aware of it. And that kind of brought me to the need for surf therapy and different kind of integrated groups, support groups, and integrating clinical work into the ocean, right? So what we kind of have like an outside in approach in the model. We're babies. So we have just launched last July, and we've been partnering and connecting and getting to know all the amazing ocean lovers and, passionate individuals that are making change. The reason I'm even here is because I was just in awe of Joy, who was cleaning up Mondo's, my favorite long wave surf beach. And there were no waves. And I was just watching Joy and wondering, what do you need to do that? What do you need inside? What kind of passion? What kind of grit? What kind of motivation? What kind of support system do you need to do that so much, right? So outreach is number one. And what we do is we educate with postcards and fun marketing materials and our stockpile, just to make it, we're not focusing on the clinical sense. It's just more of a community outreach program where whether you're a store owner, whether you're a surf teacher, whether you're an individual teacher or a therapist or a clinician or someone who loves and respects the ocean and wants to help others, beginners, expert surfers, we want everyone to have a tool to communicate, right? That's the start. Just engage. The biggest problem, I think, is that people don't feel comfortable engaging. They don't want to be the one saying, this is what I think you just backpedaled me. It's really hard to say that. I think you just snaked me. So it's either nothing or you get too aggressive, right? So our tool is just there to make it fun, and it goes back to the basics, and it's not like it's new information. It's just we want to focus back onto it. Okay. So through events and workshops and community collaborations, one collaboration we're working on is with NAMI in May. I think it's the 21st. And we're going to have a beach walk and event over there. And we're going to have, a lot of signups and kind of introduction to our services and just outreach. And we have a team of volunteers that are waiting to kind of work and see how their skills can really involve the community and what skills they have that they haven't looked at. So we're going to have Surfers Code a support group, mental health awareness. And then we're going to have Soul Surf mentorship program. So the bulk of our work is actually for the helpers, the people that will actually say, hey, I think I have a gift. I think I now, feel like I'm ready to help, right? They're open-minded, they have some time, they're in transition. So we offer we're planning to offer a lot of workshops and trainings and support groups within the volunteer arena so that our core team understands not just the Surfers Code, but knows how to instill it, right? It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of interpersonal skills, self-awareness, working through your blind spots, all those things that I do for like clinical supervision. I think it can be done experientially and as a team approach in a mentorship program. We're also offering ocean surf therapy pilot programs. Our main one that we're focusing on is in Port Hueneme, like Kevin was sharing, and we have so much to learn and integrate with Kevin's company. I think is amazing what you've done, is to offer, see if we partner with agencies like that, we can offer our associate level, graduate intern level help and counseling to integrate. It's called recreational counseling. It's just like school counseling. They're not individual therapists, but they're recreational therapists to help you with the subtle differences you might have, subtle sensitivities you might have that, and then you can get back into kind of training with teams or surf camps, etc. And we're planning to hopefully partner with all the camps out there and individual teachers that want to help with our program. Our community model within the pilot program is built so that it could be affordable, sustainable, and volunteer. The bulk of it is volunteer led. And we're really excited because we have a really good team of such diverse backgrounds that we've met in the ocean, which I think is a really good story, but it really is amazing. The feeling when you have experienced the ocean together and then understand with an intention and come together, I think it's very powerful. We're new to Ventura County, so we're very humble and we're grateful to be here and to partner with anyone on an individual to an organizational level. We've had a lot of interest from companies and nonprofits where they would love to get their teams out there in the ocean, but they don't have the equipment. There's a lot of organizations that do this too. So we're not remaking anything, we're enhancing everything that we can within our capacity. So depending on the growth of our agency and partnerships, we're hoping to grow exponentially. Okay, and then in the future, what we're also planning is, just recreationalizing a lot of what you get in clinical therapy, right? Mindfulness, yoga, art therapy, we're integrating that all into programming, into using more than what we have, which is the ocean. We need more. We need more resources to actually help, people in need. And we acknowledge that, which is why we are so honored to be with Surfrider, even to expose and introduce our services. We're going to have Stoke collab sessions. So what that is anyone with a passion. It could be development, it could be organizational, it could be capstone projects. How you intersect with us, marketing, branding, if a couple of people can create our website, I can't imagine what the, younger generation can do, right? I'm barely getting through this presentation on Zoom, and I know that there's so much talent out there that can be utilized for good. So we're on our website, you can see more information. It's getting updated as well regularly as we're growing our team. And, one thing that I do want to add is that recently we were approved to be a part of the International Surf Therapy Organizations Network. So we are a global contributor, and our overarching model is the Infinite Wave. It's a research project that accounts for the work of Stoke, kind of accounts for the Stoke currency, and creating sustainability. So it's easily remade in different communities that need sustainable, affordable surf or ocean therapy. Okay, I would love for you guys to look up International Surf Therapy Organization. They have amazing research out there. They've grown to, I don't even know the number right now, but they have really grown the efficacy. They're building on the efficacy of ocean recreation and therapy, and all of these, our lives are intersecting. So it's a very exciting time. We are learning. We want to learn with you. And you just have to add water. So that's pretty much all I have. I can't wait to read all these chats, but thank you so much for your time. I hope that wasn't too long.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Anna. That was so inspiring, and you and Kevin both nailed it on your times here. I'm so honored to have both of you on, and the work that you're both doing is so incredible and really, really relevant for what's going on right now. I love what you bring up about mental health in the ocean, and especially given the climate change crisis that we're going through right now. I mean, it's affecting so many people in so many different ways from a bunch of different angles. And I'm really looking forward to your research and hopefully future partnerships with you and then also with Kevin. I mean, you're both in Port Hueneme, and like I said, we're incredibly lucky to have such trailblazers in Port Hueneme. So I know we had some questions in the chat earlier on. So I'm gonna, if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, put it in the chat, whatever you're more comfortable with, feel free. I'm gonna scroll back up to the top. Debbie asked Kevin, can individuals or community businesses become sponsors and or contribute funds to support your beautiful program?
Yeah, I replied back to her, absolutely. I just wanted to say there's something in the water out here in Port Hueneme. You put the water joke in there, something in the water out there. But yeah, absolutely, man. You're welcome. What we try to do to people that want to volunteer or donate is come down, like we do our kid fishing down the 4th Sunday of the month. If you have time, come down and see what we're doing. We do have some YouTube videos up that you could see, but we like, people to like our partnerships or sponsorships. We like to call them partnerships more because it's more than just a monetary donation. If there's some projects that we could collaborate on, we're going to be doing some development as well. If you have a business and you want to, there's a way that maybe that, again, like she said, that mentorship factor that we're going to have for some of our students at the Learning Center. So we encourage donors and partners and sponsors to, take a look at this and see what, hear some of the smiles and the laughter to see the whole thing that goes on, because again, once you become part of the Guppy, family, we call it, that, you understand like this is a unique program and where your dollars are going, and then seeing, again, what if there's, what as opposed to just, we do Lions clubs and stuff, some people that donate some funds and stuff, but we try to again incorporate that next level of like, how can we, serve the community kind of together, so we love, we do accept them, but just, check out the, come down and see what we're really doing, and be a part of it.
Thank you so much, Kevin. And Anna, I wanted to also ask, you gave so much amazing information. Is there a good website or contact information for people to follow up with you on?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put it in the chat. That's our website. And then directly, if you're interested in volunteering or any kind of connection, actually, you want to paddle out, that's fine too. There's a lot of learning to be done together. So hydrotheory.org. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you for putting that one in the chat. And we will, again, like I said, we're going to put this recording on YouTube, and then we'll put it on social media for anybody who wanted to go back and listen to anything that was mentioned, if they want to get the links and everything as well. And I, again, so honored to be here. I'm going to pause for a second and see if anybody has any other questions for Anna, for Kevin, for the program leads. Like I said, if you're feeling shy, throw it in the chat. If you want to email them directly, of course, feel free to unmute yourself as well. All righty. Oh my gosh. Well, once again, it has been such an honor to have you both here, and it is so great to see the work you're doing. I know, Kevin, you mentioned the 17th is your community center unveiling, and then Anna, you said the 22nd is your next event as well, right? 22nd?
May, you said? May 21st?
Oh, May. I thought February 22nd. Well, then I was
Oh, no, I'll be at the ribbon cutting with...
So it was May 22nd?
That's our joint collaboration with NAMI, but we're going to be posting our events and workshops online in the next couple of weeks, and they're going to be starting end of March on through the fall. And the if you're a practicum student or intern in a graduate level, they can get their hours through the spring, summer, and fall.
Awesome. That's great. Well, I'm really looking forward to hopefully collaborating with you both in the future again, get some new people out into the water, get some great connections, and give people a sense of place at the beach, because that's how we all started off. It all started somewhere. So thank you so much, and everybody, for joining us tonight. It has been a pleasure. We will keep you updated on our social media, and we'll see you next month for our March chapter meeting as well. So I hope
I added the address to the chat. It's 2741 South Victoria Avenue. I didn't put the time, but it's 5 to 6 at the Fisherman's Wharf there, just to the left of the Elite Theater. So if anybody wants to check it out, it's at Fisherman's Wharf, left of the Elite Theater on the 17th. And again, thank you for having us. I've been excited for this all day, sharing it. It's good to see some of the people I sent the link to, even my old friends that spread the word. And again, we're going to Poinemi, and surfing is a big part of our life. So to kind of see them in here, and I jumped in, was good. So thank you so much. I thank Anna too for her great, so much great information and things that, again, the part of it going on with our cultures and our cities and humanity, and how much really the ocean is therapeutic and stuff. It's really cool to hear other organizations, on the same fight as far as like getting people out and enjoying this stuff. So again, thank you for having us as a part of this. Thank you.
Of course. Wonderful. Good night, everyone. See you next time.